Yo, 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 what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Macro Mondays. Guys, there is a huge week ahead, of course, with the news events. Tomorrow, we've got retail sales, and then, of course, federal funds rate on Wednesday, which is huge, guys. FOMC statement, press conference, the whole bank shoot, guys. It's going to be a huge week. It's definitely time to pay attention. And the market is still neutral. The crypto market is still neutral. I personally think there is downside to come. I'm going to go into that today. But let's get straight into Bitcoin over here, guys. And what you can see is that we're still just hovering around this, the range between 110 and 120K. And we've been in the zone for a while now. And ultimately, we have just gone sideways for a long period of time. Just over 2 months, we've gone sideways. So not too much interesting happening in the market at the moment. But I am personally a little bit hesitant to be bullish at the moment, just because we are, stuck below that key 50% level over here. I said, watch out for this level. The other day, when we start to close below it, this is resistance. When we are below the key level of about that 116K, it is resistance over here. And it lines up perfectly with these old lows over here. So this is the big resistance at the moment for Bitcoin. It's currently fighting with that now. I'm still in my short at the moment from the zone over here, currently at break even. So not too much happening with that short at the moment, but this does look like a high probability resistance zone. Of course, we have the all-time highs and then this low over here. That halfway point coming in right at this resistance zone over here. So I'm potentially looking for a move into this box right over there. So I think it's a high probability trade. This is my short position at the moment. And, from a risk reward point of view, it does look good. So your short would look something like this, stop loss over there. And then, of course, targeting the zone over here. And then let's see how Bitcoin reacts into the zone over here. Not the best risk to reward at the moment. But, if you do tighten your stop loss, you can get that 3-to-1 risk to reward. Assuming that Bitcoin doesn't get above that 120K zone, which it might. So let's see. I do think there's going to be a lot of volatility, and I'm personally taking some bets to the downside, guys. I think it is worth having a crack at a short. I am in the Solana short at the moment. So very interesting with Solana is that the last high here was on that Sunday. I'm not sure if you guys remember it, mid-January of this year. We did that Sunday pump and that Sunday wick and close underneath there. And then, for the rest of that week, we just kind of chopped around in the zone over here. So this could potentially happen for Solana before breaking down. What you can see, guys, obviously big push-up Saturday, Sunday wick. And then what you can see now with the current price action was there was a big push-up. This was on the Friday. Consolidation there on the Saturday. So we might see a bit of a chop in the zone over here. I think it is worth potentially going short. I think the risk reward is pretty good. So your short idea would be, we don't really want to get above that wick over there. And then we are targeting that 195, 50% level, guys. 195. So that's, of course, from the all-time high to that recent low that we saw at the start of April. That halfway point comes in at that 195, 196 zone. This is a short that I am in. I wouldn't risk more than 1% for this trade, of course, but let's see what happens. Short right over there, stop loss at that 250 zone right over there, and then, of course, targeting this halfway point, which will be big support. This will be big support for sure. Going to make this nice and green. So that is the idea for Solana, but let's see how it reacts. There will be some volatility, of course, on Wednesday. So let's see what happens on Wednesday. Then we got ETH over here. So ETH having a nice push up on Friday, the 12th of September. Nice little push up there. And now it looks like we are retesting this zone over here. So this was a resistance zone, which we did flip. And we're potentially flipping it right now into support. So I do think the risk reward is actually in Solana and Bitcoin if you are looking for a short. I think, ETH looks pretty decent at the moment, and the halfway point from this recent move is at the current levels over here. So it does make sense that we do see some support in the zone over here. I'm going to make this green. over there. Does make sense that we do find support up here. However, if we do start to lose that level, then I can picture the bottom of the zone up here coming in that this 4,250 zone over here. I can see if we lose this level, we'll push down to there. We'll most likely find support over there. Okay, so why am I leaning more bearish than bullish for altcoins at the moment? The main thing I'm looking at, guys, is Bitcoin dominance. So Bitcoin dominance, I spotted this, well, it's been going on for a few weeks now, but there is a bullish divergence forming. Obviously, your price making lower lows. You can see lower lows over here. Here's a low, lower low, another lower low. And then, of course, what you can see is on the RSI making higher lows. So low, higher low, and even higher low. So this is a big warning sign over here for Bitcoin dominance. I do see there potentially being a push up, and we're going to have to wait and see. So what you can see here, guys, is that there is this resistance over here. It will look something like that from these highs. This one over here, this one over here, and it looks like we are kind of fighting the zone at the moment. Let's just make this white quickly. So it looks like we are fighting the zone over here. So thank you. Thanks a lot. Apologies for that, guys. Looks like we are currently fighting the zone over here. So let's see what happens when we do potentially close outside of the zone over here. So this is the zone that I'd be looking out for. The zone over here, of course, bullish divergence. And if we can reclaim this level over here, of course, that 58.8 zone over there, consolidate above there, then I do see a push up for Bitcoin dominance. So I do see it retesting the 50-day EMA. It hasn't touched the 50-day EMA since the 12th of July, which means it's been in a strong trending move to the downside. So watch out for that, guys. Hasn't touched it in a while. We could easily get a retest of that zone over there. Let's talk about USDC dominance, guys. I spoke a word of warning on this the other day, saying that it looks kind of strong because it has reclaimed the 50% level again. It lost it. It was looking quite bearish up here. Then it had a nice push up since mid-August over there. And it did reclaim this 50% level, and it was above the important EMAs, looking to make a golden cross over here, which looks like it is attempting to get above that 50% level over here again. So let's see what happens if it does reclaim the zone. It could be looking quite scary for the crypto bulls, as this has a very likely chance of hitting that 2% level again. So definitely watch out for that, guys. Just a word of caution. Of course, USDT dominance, however, does look a little bit more bearish than USDC dominance. So we can be coming to the zone here. We did speak about this range low, which we did come into, of course, in mid-August. So this is the zone that you would expect there to be resistance. We only wicked slightly into this level over here, coming perfectly into the top of the box, just below 4% there. And that was the start of that bigger pullback. So watch out for this, guys. I did say that, after coming into this range low, we could see a push up into the zone over here, which we kind of did see. I thought we'd come a little bit deeper into the zone, but that is not the case. So this is still in like no man's land, of course. We could easily see a push down here, and we could easily see a breakout over here. And of course, that would be quite scary for the crypto market. So for now, it is still in favor of the crypto bulls. This is a bearish chart. It is still in favor of the crypto bulls. We are below the important 50% levels. We are below the 50-day EMAs. And that is just what the chart is telling me at the moment. If you look at total crypto, it does look strong. It is above the 50% level, coming in at 3.91%. Obviously, Solana carrying the team here a bit. This is strong, guys, bullish. The total crypto market is bullish. Total 3 is also bullish. Looks like it is starting to attempt a move there. So this is a zone where you could expect a retest, which it looks like it is doing currently. So let's see, guys. This is the area where you want to see a retest. What you don't want to see is for price to come down and start to trade below these levels over here. Get below that 1.09 trillion. You can see this high over there. So what you don't want to see is for this level to be lost and then start to trade below that. This will look like a deviation, and then we could be targeting the range low. Technically, that is what we look for in a deviation. Where would the range low be at this point? Not entirely sure. This looks like a likely range low for the current price action, the zone over here. So it could come down to that 650 billion. Let's see. We haven't yet had that happen, but just watch out if we do start to lose these levels to the downside. If we get below and start to reclaim that 1.09 trillion, then it will be looking a little bit scarier for total 3. Others is looking good though. Looks like it has reclaimed this important 50% level. Let me just get rid of some of the stuff up here. Make it a little bit cleaner for you guys. So we did have this important 50% level and this important resistance, which we have now broken through. Last week, we saw a breakthrough over there. So now that we are above the 50% level, if we start to close multiple daily candles and weekly candles above the 50% level, looks like we have closed a few now. We closed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Today or tomorrow it could be 7. If we do close above this, then it is very likely that we do see the top of the range. So let's see, guys. This is looking bullish. This is a bullish chart. And the risk at the moment for others is to the upside. So altcoins, I do favor to the upside. However, definitely watch out. Watch out at the moment. We can have a look at Pepe. Personally, not too interested in altcoins. So this looks like it has had a little nice move there. Now to retesting these important EMAs, you do want to see this hold as support, and you can easily take a long from here with your stop over here, and of course targeting that 50% level, giving us a risk reward of that 3.7 2 to 1. That was of course an old trade which may or may not have been stopped out. I'm not sure. So this 50% level looks very likely to get retested. There's a lot of liquidity over here as well. We could see a breakout of this descending resistance here. Not really coming into that yet. But this would be, where a lot of liquidity lies. We could see a breakout and then a push up into the zone over here. But personally, not really interested in meme coins at the moment, guys. Mainly looking at Bitcoin and the blue chips, looking at potential shorts going into CPI, just because of what Bitcoin dominance looks like, guys. But let's see. Who knows what's going to happen leading up into, of course, the important news event. On the weekly time frame, it does look like it does look good still on the weekly time frame, still above the important EMAs. And yeah, I wouldn't really hesitate on this. This zone over here would be the macro 50% for the higher term time frame. Solana on the weekly also looks bullish. So expecting a push to the upside if we do look on the weekly time frame. The short I have, does come, of course, into this 195 zone. It's of course a short on the daily time frame, but on the weekly time frame, it does look strong, and it does look like all-time highs is the target for Solana, guys. The zone over here, definitely the target. Looks like we have come into that now, but we could deviate above. So let's see. But guys, I'm going to end the stream there. Not too much happening on the TradFi. Of course, gold looking very bullish. I did think this was potentially a distribution, but looks like the game continues to the upside, guys. Very, very strong over here. Shorts getting wrecked. But the rest of the market does look kind of strong. All-time highs. Nothing bearish about all-time highs. But guys, thanks so much for joining the stream, and we will